This is Mac OS Ken.
Apple settles a patent suit, iThings join an airline's cabin crew, and time's running out for an early Apple timepiece. It is Friday, the 13th of October, 2023.
No!
I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by American Tech Support. Set up and support for businesses and homes for over 20 years. Find out more at americantechsupport.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Apple, Broadcom, and Caltech have buried the hatchet. And it was probably an expensive hatchet to bury. A piece from 9 to 5 Mac says the two companies have reached an agreement with the California Institute of Technology to end a patent lawsuit tied to Wi-Fi chips made by Broadcom and used by Apple. According to the report, Caltech filed the lawsuit in 2016, saying that all of Apple's products infringed upon its patents: iPhone, iPad, Mac, iMac, Apple Watch, Apple TV, HomePod, and even the discontinued airport routers. The patents in question related to Wi-Fi performance and balancing speed with factors like heat, power, and chip size. The court actually found in Caltech's favor in 2020. Back then, a jury actually ordered the offending companies to pay Caltech over $1 billion, with roughly $838 million expected from Apple and about $270 million from Broadcom. Surprising no one, Apple appealed that. While the patent infringement verdict stood, 9 to 5 Mac says the damages amount was ruled legally unsustainable. The parties were due back in court this past summer, though that was indefinitely postponed. Not long after, talk of a settlement started making the rounds. Now, that talk can stop. For now, anyway. According to the report, the details of the settlement are unknown, but Caltech has agreed to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning it can be refiled. 20,000 Apple devices at 30,000 feet. The airline Emirates issued a press release Thursday touting the company's One Device initiative. Amusingly, it involves 2 devices. According to the release, all 20,000 Emirates cabin crew receive iPhone 13 or iPad Air. Those are configured with custom Emirates apps meant to improve and streamline passenger service on board and make things easier on staff. The release marks year 1 of an ongoing effort to kit out the crew. So far, the airline has spent the equivalent of over $8 million US on Apple gear. Today, the release says, more than 7,000 Emirates crew members use iPhone across 450 daily flights in the global network. In the coming months, an additional 5,000 cabin crew will receive iPhone and iPad, featuring new apps and features that build on the successful deployment. I'm no Pythagoras, but 7,000 plus 5,000 is about 8,000 short of the 20,000 with which the release leads off. Still, iPhones and iPads in the air. In airplane mode, one assumes. Singing the hardware's praises, the release says key features include fast charging, an extended battery life, lightweight design, and premium build quality. Additionally, the release says Apple's industry-leading security protects customer and cabin crew information, protecting both the guest and employee's privacy by leveraging the security built into the device, authenticating user identity with secure Face ID, and removing the flight information once the journey is complete. If all of the talk of new iPhones over the last few weeks has you considering a new iPhone, Apple has some words of advice. Cult of Mac says the Cupertino company has posted a support doc on what to look for when looking at a pre-owned iPhone. The doc is divided into sections for buying online and buying from individuals. For the former, tips include buy from a reliable seller, make sure you understand the return policy, find out whether pre-owned devices are certified, and a few other suggestions. When buying from individuals, tips include checking for damage, making sure the phone's been erased, checking to see whether parts have been replaced with instructions on how to do that, checking the battery health with instructions on how to do that, connect to Wi-Fi, check the buttons, check the camera, and seriously, this list goes on. Ridiculously, the doc itself is not easy to find. Putting the title of the document, "If you want to buy a pre-owned iPhone," in the search window on Apple's own site, did not take me to that doc. But when I put the title, "If you want to buy a pre-owned iPhone," into DuckDuckGo, the support doc was the fourth search result. Oh, Apple. Once you find it, the doc has lots of good advice, some of which might even be interesting to check out on an old phone of your own. Happy searching. A note of clarification from a macOS Ken listener in the United Kingdom. I told you Thursday about a few new features coming to iPhone with iOS 17.1. One was the one where users in the UK will be able to access a serious amount of banking information right in Apple Wallet. This is a new feature for the Wallet app, though apparently not a new feature in the UK. Shortly after Thursday's show posted, I got an email from Ian saying Thursday's show covered Apple Wallet integrating with the cross-industry open banking standard we have here. It sounded like maybe, thanks to the report you were covering from, that this was somehow an Apple initiative. We've had open banking here for years. It's a way for apps and sites to see into multiple accounts, including those with competing banks. Their website is located at openbanking.org.uk. It's been live with banks for around 5 years now. It's closely related to, and before Brexit, was driven by EU open banking. Hope that clarifies things. So writes Ian. Thank you for the clarification, Ian. And as always, happy banking. More news in a moment, but first a word about this week's sponsor, American Tech Support. Online at americantechsupport.com. If the UPS app is correct, I should be rocking an iPhone 15 Pro Max later today. That is thanks to American Tech Support. They're fans of macOS Ken. They were bummed that I wasn't getting a new iPhone, so they said if I would tell you about them, they'd get me the iPhone and be less bummed themselves. Getting to know them has been a joy, and I am glad to tell you about the work they do. Serving the area in and around Denver, Colorado, American Tech Support goes as far back as backing up data for major corporations when data came on giant reels of magnetic tape. Your needs may sound small by comparison, but think about it. Computers used to be one giant thing. Today, even the most basic setups can have machines from multiple manufacturers running various platforms. That's what American Tech Support does. Supports your tech. From fixing issues with your current setup to deploying solutions spec'd just for you. Google reviews and Yelp reviews laud their expertise, their friendliness, and their fair prices. For your home office, or your small to mid-sized business, if you're in the Denver area, American Tech Support is there for you. Find out more and get in touch. 303-995-8324. That's 303-995-8324. Or visit their website to find out more. AmericanTechSupport.com. And a big thanks to American Tech Support for sponsoring this week's show. Tempus Fugit. Time flies. Even for timepieces. It was just a few weeks ago that every one of Apple's original Apple Watch models were deemed obsolete. Now a piece from Mac Rumors says Apple's first go at a lower-priced model has hit the company's vintage list. I refer to the Apple Watch Series 1, which, funny enough, was not the first model of Apple Watch. Introduced alongside the Apple Watch Series 2 in September of 2016, Mac Rumors says the Series 1 was a more affordable model that lacked the Series 2's built-in GPS, brighter display, and improved water resistance. It was also only available with an aluminum case, whereas the Series 2 had aluminum, stainless steel, and ceramic case options. But it cost less, with a starting price of $269 here in the States. That was $100 less than the starting price of the Series 2, which I guess was the second model of Apple Watch. Apple Watch Series 1 stuck around for a couple of years, discontinued with the launch of Series 4 in 2018. Apple deems a product vintage if it's been off the market for between 5 years and 7 years. That means Apple and Apple-authorized service providers will repair an Apple Watch Series 1 still, provided there are parts available to do so. And finally today, Season 4 of For All Mankind is less than a month away, and Apple TV Plus is priming the PR engine. One of Apple's 4 original flagship series, the Ronald D. Moore creation, is set in an alternative history, one where the race to the moon was won not by the U.S., but by the Soviet Union. From the moon, it was on to Mars, where former foes have become partners. That brings us to a new millennium in the show and a new season of it. Set in 2003, a press release on the upcoming season says the focus of the space program has turned to the capture and mining of extremely valuable, mineral-rich asteroids that could change the future of both Earth and Mars. But simmering tensions between the residents of the now sprawling International Martian Base threaten to undo everything they are working toward. The first of Season 4's 10 episodes will hit Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 10th of November. Subsequent episodes will hit one a week on following Fridays through the middle of January. If you want to catch up, the first 3 seasons of For All Mankind are available to stream now on Apple TV Plus. And of course, you can catch a trailer for Season 4 on YouTube. macOS Can, brought to you by me and sponsored by American Tech Support. Set up and support for businesses and homes for over 20 years. Find out more at americantechsupport.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.